For the hastening of the reappearance of the 12th Imam, please recite aloud, Salawat. Wouldn't it be convenient if we had this special button that whenever we are exhausted and distressed, we press it and our life goes into a autopilot mode? Sit down, relax, and enjoy the ride. Of course it would be convenient. Of course it would be nice. But the fact is that that is not healthy for us. That should not be the case for us. Why? For a couple of reasons. One, those youngsters who go to the gym know very well that even though they become tired and exhausted and they become thirsty, they have to run, sweat, but that's the only way to do it. If you want to stay healthy, you need to go to the gym for a daily basis, or at least maybe once a week. Likewise, if we don't take advantage of this godly blessing called the aql, it'll worn out, it'll be dysfunctional. There is a hadith that a man came to the sixth Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. He said, Ya ibn Rasulullah, I'm wealthy enough, I was a businessman, and I've accumulated so much money. I don't need to go to work anymore. But what would you recommend? Now here I want to say something in parentheses as a side note. Brothers and sisters, whatever you want to do, you being those faithfuls and believers in God and knowing that religion is a way of life and it's a lifestyle, better off before engaging and going about doing what you want to do, take the religious books. Take the books that have narrated the traditions and the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt and see what Ahlul Bayt have to offer to us. So whatever the case happens to be, first of all, see what the Ahlul Bayt have taught us. See what the Ahlul Bayt have told us to do or not to do. You want to get married? Go look at the traditions. You want to have children? Go see the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt. I don't think it's a major problem to search online and search the ahadith of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in every field that you want to engage. And by the way, do you know the vast amount of teachings that we have in every specific and particular field? Name it. I'll mention one. You take this glass of water, you're thirsty, you drink it. After a while, you need to visit the toilet. Do you know, between this and that, the drinking and going to the restrooms, we have 70, that's 70, Islamic decrees, some prohibitions, some obligations, some recommendations, and some makruhat, some things that are discouraged for you to do. 70! Drinking water and visiting the restroom. And so, for a believer and a faithful, at least there is an expectation from you to go and see what Ahlul Bayt have said, again, in each particular field. So this man comes, I'll close the brackets and the parentheses. He comes to the Imam, Ya ibn Rasulullah, I'm a wealthy man, I don't need to work, but what would you tell me? I want to seek your advice. How beautiful is this? Now if it was me, I'd say that, well, I either do or don't do. Either go to work or don't go to work. But he says, I need to listen to the Imam's advice. I want to see what the infallible Imam tells me. So the Imam said, in response, he said, no, don't stay at home, go to work. Why? إِذَنْ لَذَهَبَ عَقْلُكَ. Because if you don't utilize the aql, it'll stop functioning and it will expire. The same applies to the muscles, the same applies to the senses, and that's why you need to keep them working. So that's the first reason. The second reason, we human beings are defined by our intellect. So if you take that from that criteria, I'm nothing more or nothing less from an animal, right? The third, and most importantly, the third point and answer is this. Allah placed us in this world so that we think and we utilize and we take advantage of this aql. And that's why you would find, you know how they say, the famous book, men from Mars, women from Venus, and that we don't understand each other, perhaps living for a decade or two without being able to understand each other. Why is this the case? Because again, it never was meant to be an autonomous life, an autopilot mode. It wasn't meant to be like that. You need to sit down, think, contemplate, and try to tackle these challenges, come with appropriate results in your life. The same applies with raising children. You've got your own mindset. He's living in a new era. He wants to do what he likes to do. You know it's wrong. He doesn't understand you. You don't understand him. That's the case of life. That is how it is supposed to be. You need to sit down and think. What do you want to do in life? And that, my friends, not only applies to the challenges in life, but also in every minute issue, insignificant issue in life. I mentioned this hadith. The Prophet ﷺ once told his companion who asked him for advice, he said, whatever you want to do, just think beforehand. If it's good, do it. If it's bad, don't do it. We need to think. And I told you this again, and I'm repeating it, that there are people, corporations, tyrants, you name it, they want to simply take you away from this endowment called the aql. They don't want you to think. They want to think instead of you. They want to make the decisions, of course, that you will ultimately be doing. By the way, have you heard of this science called behavioral economics? So it's an offshoot of the topic of economics. They study how you think, how you do what you do. Psychologically, what are the reasons why you engage into, buying and selling and whatnot? Why do you take these decisions? So the psychological aspects, the social aspects, the emotional aspects, and you sometimes think that you're making your own decisions, while if you go a little bit deeper, you'd find mysteries. You'd find corporations behind your own decisions that you are taking. Why do you think, for example, restaurants are always red colored or blue, yellow and orange colored? Because that ignites the hunger within you. You're making the decision again, but it's them who are driving you towards that decision. You want to hire a car, so they tell you like 20, 25 pounds, for example, a day. But then you press the next button, they say you want this function, you want this add-on, you want this and that, until you end up buying or renting whatever with a price tag much higher than you first expected. You made that decision, but if they initially promoted and told you that the price will be that, you won't. You might most probably end up saving the money in your pocket. So they know how to tackle and they know how to make you decide what you decide. I don't want to go into these topics. I have my own for the night. So the fact is, God wants us to use and utilize and take advantage over our aql. Contemplate and think and comprehend. This is why we were brought into this world, my dear brothers and sisters. A hadith tells us that if you think for a moment, if you sit down, contemplate for a moment. The hadith says sa'ah. So is it a 60-minute span, or is it just a metaphor as in a moment, a minute? Sit down and think. that could be more rewarding than worshipping Allah for one whole year. One whole year. Why? I'll tell you why. Because sometimes thinking for a minute could lead not to a 1 year of prosperity, but for eternal prosperity. We mentioned the story of Hur. Now I mentioned a portion of his story when he thought for a moment to respond to Imam Hussain. The second portion is this: when he started shaking, his companion, his friend said, what's going on? What's happening to you? He said that I'm at a crossroad. إني أخير نفسي بين الجنة والنار. I am having the option whether I could choose. I will choose to go to paradise and end up in eternal prosperity, or I choose hell, وَالْعَيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, end up in eternal misery and chastisement and inferno. وَوَاللَّهِ لَا أَخْتَارُ عَلَى الْجَنَّةِ شَيْئًا. And by God, I will not choose but to go to paradise, even if they cut me in pieces and even if they burn me to ashes. إن قطعت والله لا أختار على الجنة شيئا حتى إذا قطعت أو أحرقت. See, he made the decision. He thought for a moment. Subhanallah, if he hadn't changed his stance, he was the first person that we curse. But now he's among the ones who we seek his intercession to enter paradise. You visit him once you visit Karbala, visit Imam Hussain and his companions. Why? Because of one moment of thinking. If you think, what am I doing to myself? Where am I going to? Once you start this process, if you're going astray, you're going to take that U-turn and come back. But if you're not thinking, then that's problematic. Do you know why? Again, you switch off that intellect, you would, or there is a chance that you would do anything. You would do anything. You've heard the hadith, or perhaps some of you, that the devil once came and started whispering to this man who had animosity towards his brother, enmity. So he started whispering to him that how about you take this knife and stab your brother and kill him. Now he did have those inclinations within him, but to actually and practically engage, that needs a lot of courage, if you like, audacity. So he said, no, I just can't do this. He was a young man, infused with temptations and desires. He wanted to commit adultery. Again, the shaitan came to him. By the way, the hadith says that shaitan flows in your mind the way that your body flows in your veins. He comes the way that you want, or the things that you want to do, he starts whispering. He never tells you to come and kill a person if you don't have these intentions. He never tells you to, commit adultery if you've shut that door in front of his face. But the things that you like, he comes to you and starts whispering. يُزَيِّنُ لَهُمْ. He beautifies. That's it. That's all he does. So he said, kill that brother that you hate. He said, I just can't. He said, well, commit adultery that you like. He said, that's difficult. Society doesn't accept. He said, well, have a sip. Drink that alcohol. It's just one glass of alcohol. I mean, how much damage could a glass of alcohol really do to you? Drink it. And he drank it. Guess what? He became drunk. He committed adultery, and he ultimately killed his brother. That's what happens when you turn off the aql. Ahlul Bayt have told us, and Allah before them have told us, use the aql. Use it. However you want to be, just beforehand, think. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the majority of people. He says, وَأَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ. They don't want to think. We're telling them, don't do this, do that. We've warned them. 124,000 prophets were sent. Brother, pray. Don't take this lightly. Don't endanger yourself. You're invoking God's wrath upon yourself when you abandon praying. And by the way, let me tell you this hadith. Inshallah, it's a reminder for all of us. The hadith says that if a person sits down, knows that it's adhan time, it's prayer time, right? But he doesn't pray, abandons praying. He's careless towards praying until the sun sets. Or if it's a morning prayer, until the sun rises. Do you know what happens? فَقَدْ حَبَطَ عَمَلُهُ. He's 40 years old, 50 years old. He's done so much. He's cried so much over Abi Abdullah al-Hussain alayhi salam. He's helped so many people, right? One prayer you abandon. Willingly, you don't stand up and pray while seeing everyone else praying. Every good action of yours, every worship of yours is instantly nullified. All of it is nullified. Na'udhu billah. Na'udhu billah. Now that we are at it, I'll mention another hadith. Inshallah, this will be helpful. Inshallah, inspirational. The hadith says, and this is narrated by the 6th Imam alayhi salam. He says that inna mu'minan, a faithful man, not an infidel, not a hypocrite, not a Christian or a Jew, a mu'min, a faithful man, a believer. He dies, he is placed in his grave. The two angels come to him, Nakir and Munkar. They say among the things that they tell him, that we have to whip you 100 lashes. He said, but I can't handle this. These lashes are from the hereafter. God knows what happens to a person who is hit with these lashes. So they say, you have to. You are, at the end of the time, you committed sins, and there were sins that you did not repent from. You did not seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala towards those sins. So he starts perhaps crying and asking and whatnot. So they say, okay, we'll reduce this to 99. Alhamdulillah, one is one. Again, he starts crying and asking. So they reduce this until they reach 1 lash. He said, I can't handle this. He says to them, I can't handle this. They say, with this one is inevitable. You have to be hit with this one. He says, why? Just tell me why. What is the reason? What was that sin that I committed that I deserve this and this cannot be removed from me? They say that you one day, listen to this, astonishing. They say that you one day, it was the prayer time, you stood up, you prayed, right? It's not that you did not pray. You prayed, but the wudu that you took, the ablution that you did, that was nullified. So, in other words, you prayed without a wudu. And we know that praying without a wudu is simply not praying. Prayed without a wudu. And this is what you have to face. Now that's in the grave. God knows what's written for him in the hereafter. Or inshallah, may Allah bless this mu'min. At the end of the time, he's a mu'min. But God knows, and then the hadith says, again by the 6th Imam, he says when they whipped him with this lash, امتلأ قبره نارا. His grave all of a sudden started burning. He started burning. Na'udhu billah. Nastajiru billah. So this is why, brothers and sisters, if we are going wrong, we need to think, is it really worth it? Wallah, it's not worth it. Wallah, it's not worth it. Yes, we need to observe patience for a year or two, for a couple of years. But what is this if you compare it to the eternal hereafter? Is it worth it? And so this is why we need to think. أكثرهم لا يعقلون. Yes, you want to go astray willingly. Be my guest. But قد تبين الرشد من الغي. Allah has completed telling you and informing you what is right and what is wrong. You can do whatever you want. You want to go with the flow. You want to see what you like. You want to hear what you like. You want to eat what you like. You might as well do it. But remember, the proof has been completed over you. You can't say, I didn't know, because you know. Even if you say, I did not know, the hadith says that he will be told, a person in the hereafter who says, I didn't know, he will be told, why did you not know? Wasn't there Google? Weren't there ulama? You could have learned, sought knowledge, and acquired the necessary information. So anyway, brothers and sisters, I wanted to speak tonight about two important issues. I don't know how much time I have. Perhaps I'll talk about one of them. I'll keep the rest for the upcoming nights. Again, as I said yesterday, one of the problems that we are facing, all believers of God, is the so-called new atheism. And they try to put the criteria of the intellect, and they want to set the case for aql. Atheists, they say that whatever we say is intellectual, and whatever we don't accept is not intellectual. And I'd like to address this point because I know, especially those who go to high academic institutions and universities and whatnot, they are constantly bombarded with these misconceptions. And they say this is just a mere fallacy or whatnot. Brothers and sisters, when it comes to when it comes to believing in God and proving God's existence, we don't need much effort. In fact, we have been taught by divine guides, the prophets and their successors, that every minute speck in this universe, every subatomic particle in this universe is a proof of God. And so they sometimes try to distract us, and they say that no, these are not proofs of God, and you need to bring new arguments. And so you all of a sudden think, okay, I need to sit down and think of new ways to prove God's existence. That's not the case, brothers and sisters. The unity or the uniform and the harmony in the universe, and this whole thing is an ecosystem. Imam, and I would like to address, and if you are into this, advise you to read the book of Tawheed al-Mufaddal. Al-Mufaddal was one noble companion. He comes to the Imam and he says, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, please lead me, guide me towards the existence of God and how I can really establish this within me. So the Imam brings a lot of arguments, but what types of arguments? Things that relate to the so-called innate disposition, the innate gnosis that we already know. I mentioned this yesterday. There is things that are already established in life. You don't need to establish them. I exist. Do you need to prove this? Of course not. You people, alhamdulillah, have gathered in this gathering. Do we need to prove this? Of course not, because it's established. Likewise, the existence of God subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Imam says, contemplate, Mufaddal. Think about this, Mufaddal. This whole universe is like a well-equipped house. You've got the ceilings and the walls, and you've got everything well organized. Likewise, this universe. The Imam talks about that fetus in his mother's womb and how he is nurtured and he is fed while he doesn't have any ability to go after his sustenance when he is born. The Imam says, subhanallah, look at this. Who informed this small baby to cry when he is hungry or thirsty? And who placed that milk in his mother's breast? And that milk was what was served even before and was ready even before he was born. He cries, the milk is there. And then because his skin and his body is so soft and so subtle, he cannot consume food. So what type of food Allah gives him? Milk. That comes hand in hand with his body. And then he starts growing with that limited energy that is emitted from the milk. But then he grows teeth. When he grows teeth, there is food out there. There is vegetations, there is fruits. Subhanallah, so everything comes hand in hand. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. There is this harmony. Who made this? Who created this? No one but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so we shouldn't fall into their misconceptions. Who says? How can you prove? وَفِي كُلِّ شَيْءٍ لَهُ آيَةٌ تَدُلُّ عَلَىٰ أَنَّهُ وَاحِدٌ. So they try to focus on one argument, for example, intelligent design, and they neglect all of a sudden everything else. Brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has 99 names. With every name you could be led to Him. Do you know how? I'll tell you how. Again, this is the personal experience, but is based on the intellect. It has a solid basis. When you become ill, you know for sure that there is someone who can cure you. Doctors? No, they can't cure you. And many times they say that we can't do much. Medicine? Many a times it just doesn't help you. But you know for sure deep down that there is someone who can cure you. And this is why from your weakness you are led to His strength. The hadith says, مَنْ عَرَفَ نَفْسَهُ فَقَدْ عَرَفَ رَبَّهُ. Once you know yourself, your weakness, you get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're drowning and you know for sure that there's someone who can help you. There is someone who could rescue you. And this is not mine. Don't take my words for it. First of all, the hadith says it. And secondly, it's an experience that all of you have gone through. And so the Imam tells one of his companions, he says, that companion asks him, he says, Ya ibn Rasulullah, dullani ala Rabbi, guide me towards God. I have all these misconceptions in my mind. The Imam brought him to this very vivid and explicit fact. He said, have you ever been in a boat? He said, yes, ibn Rasulullah. He said, has it ever happened to you, occurred to you that this boat, capsizes, that you fall into the water and you're about to sink in and drown? He said, yes, subhanAllah, this has happened to me. He said, when that happened to you and you are about to drown, where there's no stick or wood or nothing that can help you, no ship that can rescue you, did it happen to you that you felt that there is someone who could rescue you, when again there was no one who can rescue you? Yes, ya ibn Rasulullah. Bala, ya ibn Rasulullah. The Imam said that is God. That is God. You're ill, He can help you. You're ignorant, He can help you. You're driving this highway and all of a sudden your smartphone turns off, the battery dies, you're lost in nowhere. You know that there is someone who can guide you. And you say hence, Ya Allah, Ya Hadi al-Mudillin. You're alone. You know that someone can help you. You need a wife. You want children. You are in a state of poverty. There is someone who can help you. And this is what the Ahlul Bayt have told and taught and guided us towards. أنا الفقير وأنت الغني. Or rather, أنت الغني وأنا الفقير. أنت العالم وأنا الجاهل. أنت القوي وأنا الضعيف. أنت الهادي وأنا الضال. We just need to think about God's creation. Who makes this ant? Who leads this ant towards that frog? You've heard the hadith. Prophet Musa ala nabiyina wa alihi wa alayhi salam, one time he was sitting by the river bank and he saw this ant holding in its mouth a small piece of food. And so the ant walks until it reaches a frog. The frog opens its mouth. The ant goes inside the frog's mouth. It closes its mouth. It jumps into the water. It goes for a while, comes back, opens its mouth. The ant comes outside without food. He said, Ilahi, what is this? I didn't understand. I didn't quite fathom. So Allah said that there is a small worm in the very bottom of that river, and it is stuck in between a couple of stones and rocks. Now that worm cannot go outside. That frog can, but yet cannot go between those rocks and stones. The only insect which can go inside is the ant, but the ant cannot swim and go deep. So I have inspired the ant to take food, inspired the frog to open its mouth, take it to that worm, put the food, come back. Who made this? This is why the hadith says, أفضل التفكر, the best means and method of contemplating and thinking is in the thinking of God's creation. In God's creation. Look at the splendid universe. Look at all these different types of creations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. Do you know what Allah wants to tell us? That I am omniscient, I am omnipotent. Don't you ever think that I cannot help you. Some people might think that Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, I'm alone, I haven't got married, God can give me rizq and sustenance. But if I get married, no, He cannot. Now that we're two people, we're a couple, He doesn't have the ability. Believe it or not, this is the case with many of us. We think that we need to provide for ourselves, secure our future, and then get married. By the way, do you know what the hadith says? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says that if a person neglects getting married, avoids getting married, just because he's got fear of poverty and being in a state of trouble financially, فَقَدْ أَسَاءَ الظَّنَّ بِاللَّهِ. You have not known Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have thought negatively in a bad way towards Allah, the generous, the all-knowing, the omniscient, the omnipotent. فَقَدْ أَسَاءَ الظَّنَّ بِاللَّهِ. Rely on Him. Believe in His words. إِن يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِهِمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. If they're in need, Allah will help them. I mean, we need to strengthen our belief towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so when you see what's going on and you think about what happened and what happens and what's taking place in the world, this gives you an insight. And this strengthens your belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The verses that I started my lecture with, الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا, and those who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when standing up, sitting down, وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ, when they're lying down, they're sleeping, they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah says, وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And those people, they contemplate on the creation of Allah, the skies, the heavens, the stars, وَالْأَرْضِ, and earth. رَبَّنَا, what do they say? رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. And they would say, Ilahi, oh Allah, you have not created this universe in vanity, in frivolity, in pointlessness. This is wisdom behind this creation. There is knowledge behind this creation. Everything in its space, in its place. Look at science, what they say. If this very small thing occurs and happens, you've heard the butterfly theory, the chaos perhaps theory, and so a small thing happens in the universe, and all of a sudden, disastrous other things take place because of that very small thing that took place in the world. Who did this? Who's behind this? So you look at the universe and the stars, and you would believe deep down, and the intellect is actually driving you towards this, is that God can do everything. God is wise, and I need to obey. I need to bow down. I need to believe. I need to have certainty. The hadith says that the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallu alayhi wa ala aswatikum, in every night in the middle of the night, he wakes up to pray Salatul Layl. He wakes up, he goes under the sky, and he starts seeing this spectacular universe. And he recites this verse, يَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And so Allah, look at the verses, always tries to drive us towards contemplation. Think, look at these documentaries, look at wildlife, look at these plants. Honestly mind-boggling, honestly inspirational, honestly mind-bending, mind-provoking. It wakes you up. Who's giving this knowledge to this small insect and this ant? Subhanallah, plants. Plants, they have their own lifestyle. They've got intelligence. Search it online. How a plant maneuvers and how it takes and how it deceives, if you like, those insects, flying insects, to come, and so they bring food to it, and so it's really mind-boggling. Anyway, I'll cut the topic, inshallah. Tomorrow I'll continue on this point, and especially how that relates to the school of Imam Hussain alayhi salam and the saga of Abi Abdullah al-Hussain salamullah alayhi. Tonight is a night for those who have concerns, who've got problems, perhaps if they are sick or they have sick ones at home. This is the night of al-Baneen. Brothers and sisters, you need to try this on your own. Again, it's a personal experience. But alhamdulillah, she've never let me down many a times. In Arabic, they call her Babul Hawa'ij Baneen. She is a door to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'll tell you why. Baneen, obviously, as you know, was the mother of the 4 martyrs, one of which is Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas salamullah alayh, the standard bearer of Abi Abdullah al-Hussain alayhi salam. She raised those 4 children so that they would be the sacrifice and help Imam Hussain flee and escape from the battle of Ashura and come safe home back to Medina. The only concern that al-Baneen had was this, that Imam Hussain comes back safely to the city of Medina. Of course, she wasn't given what she wanted, but Allah gave her the title of Babul Hawa'ij. If you come from her door, you've got ailments, you've got problems in life, don't forget her. And I'll teach you how. Recite Fatiha, Surah Al-Hamd, and Surah Qul Huwa Allah. Give that, send it to her, the thawab. She will take your hand, she will help you. Wallah, she will help you. At least this is what she has been given and credited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sayyidah Zainab salamullahi alayha, when she is migrating Karbala, she migrated in a special way. But when she came back, she came with rather a very different way. With utmost respect, Sayyidah Zainab was carried towards Karbala. The Arab poet says, ضعني طلع وش محلات ضعني لحد ما حد شافني ولحد سمعني. No one saw the shadow of Zainab. No one heard the voice of Zainab. Why would they? Zainab has brothers. Zainab has children. Zainab has nephews. One historian says that when Imam Hussain arrived Karbala and Sayyidah Zainab salamullah alayha and all the women were about to descend from the camels and go inside the tents, he says that I saw this woman with utmost dignity. Abbas came, Ali Al-Akbar came, the brothers of Abu Abbas came. They all came with humility and humbleness towards this woman. At that moment, he didn't know who Sayyidah Zainab was. He says that they came and they brought her down with respect. They surrounded her and they brought her inside the tent. This is Zainab. This is the daughter of Ali ibn Abi Talib. This is the daughter of Fatima al-Zahra, salamullahi alayha. So this was the case when they were about to migrate Medina. ضعني طلع وش محلات ضعني ما حد شافني ولا حد سمعني. But then اجيت الكربلة دهري فجعني. Yes, this is how she went out. But how did she come back? Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam tells one of his companions, or perhaps one of his servants, he says, Ya Bishr, Ya Bishr, إن أباك كان ينشد فينا. Your father was a poet. He used to recite poetry. Can you give lines of poetry? أتنشد فينا قال بلى يا ابن رسول الله. قال إذن أدخل المدينة ورث أبي الحسين. Bishr, I want you to go Medina before us. Before us, the camp of Imam Zainul Abidin reaches Medina. I want you to go and inform them and tell them what happened to my father Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. I don't know why the Imam did this, but I would assume that Sayyidah Zainab is about to enter the city of Medina. This time she is alone, she doesn't have her brothers, she doesn't have her children. At least the Imam wants the people of Medina to commiserate with Zainab, to sympathize with Zainab, to cry with Zainab, salamullahi alayha. And so Bishr comes. As he enters the city of Medina, he raises his voice. يا أهل يثرب لا مقام لكم بها. This is Thursday night, brothers and sisters. It's a special night. Traditions tell us that every reward is multiplied on Thursday nights. And of course, every sin is also multiplied in Thursday nights. يا أهل يثرب لا مقام لكم بها. In other words, he is saying, oh people of Medina, don't stay in Medina anymore. You need to migrate from Medina. يا أهل يثرب لا مقام لكم بها. They come out, they want to know the news. They hear that Bishr has the news revolving around Karbala and Imam Hussein. They still don't know what has happened. So they come to him, Bishr, what happened? Tell us what happened to Abi Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. He says, no, al-khabar عند قبر رسول الله. If you want the news, I will disclose it to you once I reach the grave of Rasulullah. يا أهل يثرب لا مقام لكم بها. Until he reaches the grave of Rasulullah. Again he raises his voice. يا أهل يثرب لا مقام لكم بها. قتل الحسين. قتل الحسين فأدمعي مدراره. Let me tell you people, Hussein is killed. I'll tell you even more. الجسم منه بكربلاء مضرج والراس منه على القناة. His body is left in Karbala, people. His head, you want to know about his head? His head was taken to every village and to every city. الجسم منه بكربلاء مضرج والراس منه على القناة يدار. al-Banin comes to this man. She was told that Bishr has the news of Abu Abdullah and knows exactly what happened to everyone. She comes to him. Bishr, do you know what happened to Abi Abdullah? Tell me. Bishr, tell me what happened to my son Hussein. Inform me, tell me. He said, who is this woman? Why is she so insistent? They said, this is al-Banin. This is the mother of Abbas, the mother of 4 children, 4 warriors killed in Ashura in Karbala. He said, you're al-Banin, you're the wife of Amir al-Mu'mineen. al-Banin, let me tell you. She said, tell me about Imam Hussein alayhi salam. He said, al-Banin, ajarak Allah biwaladiki Uthman. I will tell you and I will inform you about your son Uthman. She cried, she said, Ya Bishr, ya hada, wallah, I never asked you about my son Uthman. I want to know what happened to Hussein alayhi salam. He said, al-Banin, ajarak Allah biwaladiki Abdullah. al-Banin, I will tell you, your other son is also killed. We can't imagine this, brothers and sisters. A mother hears the news of her children getting killed. But what does she say? She said, I don't want to know about my children. Just tell me Hussain. Tell me my son Hussain. He said, أجرك الله يا البنين بولدك جعفر. Your third son, Ya al-Banin, was also massacred in the deserts of Karbala. He said, did I ever ask you about my son Ja'far? Wallah, the only news that I want to know is how did Hussain come out, or did he come out of Karbala? al-Banin, راح عون وراح جعفر, راح جاسم, راح الأكبر. Tell me Hussain, Hussain, Habibi Hussain. al-Banin, my condolences to you. Abbas is killed. راح عباس المشكر يا al-Banin. They say that she was carrying a small son that belongs to Abu al-Fadl Abbas, so her grandson. When she heard the name of Abbas and that he was killed, suddenly the son falls from her hands. She said, Ya hada, wallah, laqad qata'ta niyata qalbi. You broke my back, you killed me. Just tell me what happened to Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. al-Banin كان تسألي على حسين, على حسين أمس على الثرى من غير تكفير. I don't know what happened to al-Banin, but they say that Zainab alayha salam, she went and she first of all went to the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi and told Rasulullah, I came to tell you the news of your grandson Abi Abdullah. But then she comes and goes to her house. She says that I don't want to see anyone anymore. We have been seen enough. People have paraded us. I don't want to see anyone. I just want to sit down home and cry and weep over my killed ones, over Abi Abdullah, over my brothers and children. She was at home. She placed a servant, she said, a maid, she said, you stay next to the door. I don't want anyone coming. Only me and the rest of my sisters, the daughters of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein. All of a sudden, someone knocks the door. So the servant comes, she sees a woman standing. She says that my Sayyidah Zainab told me that not to allow anyone and give permission to anyone to come inside. She said, just tell her one thing. I want to come and visit her. أنا شريكتها في العزاء. The same way that she was inflicted, the same pain that she has, I also have that pain. Just go tell her this. So she goes inside, she tells Sayyidah Zainab, she said, but who is this woman? إذا صدق ظني, I am assuming that this is al-Banin. So Sayyidah Zainab stands up, she comes towards the door. I don't know how they met, I don't know what happened to them, but I imagine that Sayyidah Zainab, as she saw al-Banin, she placed her two hands on her hand and she called, Wa Abbas. As for al-Banin, I would imagine putting her hands on her back and calling, Aywa Hussaina. لفت هم al-Banin بضلع مخني, صاحت صوت يا حسين يا ابني. I finished. Just one line of poetry, and this is mentioned by al-Baneen herself. They say that she was called al-Baneen, as in the mother of the children, right? She was always called this. She had these titles. But after Karbala, whenever a woman calls her this title, he says, or she says, al-Baneen, she says, please don't remind me of my children. They say that she had created 4 graves in the graveyard of Al-Baqi'. She would go and she would recite these lines of poetry. لا تدعوني ويك البنين. Do you have anything that you want to ask al-Baneen? Now is the time. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج يا الله. لا تدعوني ويك البنين تذكريني بليوث العرين. كانت بنونا لي أدعى بهم. She said, I had children but no more. واليوم أصبحت ولا من بنين. Then she said, there is something that I cannot comprehend and conceptualize and understand. يا ليت شعري كما أخبروا بأن عباسا قطيع اليمين. البنين بهالاسم بارينا سماها. شلون 4 انطاها والفضل يرعاها. يا الله، اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. إلهنا بباب الحوائج البنين، إلهنا بإمام زماننا وبآبائه الطاهرين، عجل لوليك الفرج يا الله. We've been asked to do a dua for an ill man in hospital. اللهم إلهنا اشف كل مريض، فك كل أسير، أصلح كل فاسد من أمور المسلمين. اللهم اشف مريضنا المنظور بشفائك، وداوه بدوائك، وعافه من بلائك. اللهم أحينا حياة محمد وآل محمد، أمتنا ممات محمد وآل محمد. We recite this dua, dua al-Faraj, collectively inshallah, one voice, ليلة الجمعة. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك. All of you please. وعلى آبائه في هذه وليا وناصرا ودليلا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. إلهنا عجل لوليك الفرج، أرنا الطلعة الرشيدة والغرة الحميدة، اكحل نواظرنا بنظرة منا إليه. إلهنا تقبل منا هذا القليل بأحسن القبول، وإلى أرواح موتى المؤمنين والمؤمنات، لا سيما موتى هذا الجمع، العلماء الشهداء خدمة أبي عبد الله من لم يذكرهم ذاكر، إلى أرواحهم نهدي لهم ثواب الفاتحة قبلها صلوات.